Are you wondering where to live in Dallas, Texas? Well, we are here today to spill the tea on the lifestyle and homes in the Big D. And today we're going to one of my favorite areas to take buyers to, which is in Celina, Texas. And that's not with an S, it's with a C. Celina, Texas is straight up north of downtown Dallas and north of Frisco and Prosper. So I'm going to go over some of the pros and the cons of living in Celina. There's good and bad to everywhere you live. There's always trade-offs, and there's also some surprises. And I think with Celina, there's going to be more surprises to come. I think each year there's going to be like a, hey, we're getting this and we're getting that. So it's really going to be for those with a little bit more of a pioneering spirit and willing to go now. You're gonna really hit the payoff later. Con number one to living in Celina, Texas is the commute. Look, you're going to be an hour from downtown Dallas. Now, while it's going down the tollway, it still will be at least an hour, if not, if you've got traffic or a backup, it's rush hour, you may be looking at an hour 15, an hour 30. So it might not be the best place if you're going to be working in downtown Dallas, but you'd probably be okay if you're working in Frisco or Plano, and there are a lot of people that do work in those areas. So you'd probably be all right if that's the case. You're gonna have about 45 minutes to the airport, but you've also got, and while there are not a lot of restaurants and things yet in Celina, in 10 minutes you can get to Gates of Prosper, and there is the downtown area, and so you can get into, it's not far to go get things to do, and there's grocery stores and everything else. So it's not anything like it was even 20 years ago, but you're gonna maybe be 10 minutes to Prosper, 15 minutes to Frisco, and also in between McKinney and Denton, which also has a lot of great things to do. McKinney has the best downtown, in my opinion, and Denton it's sort of a college town with all kinds of music and everything. So the commute's gonna be one thing, and also we're adding the outer loop, which is going to connect the tollway to 75 and then even down and around over to Rockwall area. So that's going to be the new outer loop. And phase 4 of the Dallas North Tollway going north is supposed to be done by the end of 2027. And those things have, that creates growing pains, but in the end, when that's done, you're going to see, your values go up in your properties. Pro number 1, new construction. If you want that brand new house with nobody's toenails in the carpet, nobody else has lived there, and roof is new, the air conditioner is new, and you're getting 1-2 year warranties plus 10 years on the foundation, this is a great place to go, is Celina. That is one of the biggest draws, is getting a modern house and getting into a development that has new amenities, and the kids are going to new schools. You're getting the master plan communities, all of that. So that is just a huge draw to Celina, is the neighborhoods and the new construction. By the way, my name is Janée Reeder, and my Where to Live in Dallas, Texas channel is here to educate you and your friends. It helps us out a lot if you will subscribe. Even if you've got a friend moving to the area, share a video with them. That keeps us going and keeps us able to take the time to go out and film and make these videos to educate you about this area. And if you're moving in a month, a year, or a week, just, give us a call. Don't delay. Call Janée, text, call, schedule a Zoom. All that information's pinned to the top of the chat, and it's in the description. So we would love to help you make that successful Texas transition. And also, I have a little Texas trivia question for you. Why is Celina called Roller Town? This is a really unique story. So listen to the end and I'm going to tell you that. Okay, back to con number 2. That is that there is limited nightlife and entertainment in Celina. So, if you're looking for places where you can be out late at night or just tons and tons of activities, that's not really as much Celina. But You just have to go down to Frisco, and Prosper is getting more and more of that. I mean, it is really close to the PGA of America. It's really close to Universal Studios. It's opening. It's very close to the Firefly Park that's going to be opening on the tollway, and the Prosper Arts District that's also going to be, I mean, like all this stuff is coming. And once it's really here and it's open and it's, I mean, the PGA is open, but when all the, and then Legacy, our fields is going to be like Legacy West, but on steroids. So when all of that is in, like you're not going to want for being able to get in the car and get somewhere. While I say, you know, you don't have all those big city options, you kind of do because you're close to McKinney, Denton, Frisco, all those areas. So for now, you have to get in the car and go a little bit, but that won't be for that long, you know, because 20 years ago, Frisco was like Celina is now, and people bought in, they bought their houses for a good price, and they're just stunned by the equity that they have now. And people moving up to Prosper 10 years ago, you know, it's like, why would you live way up there and move into Windsong Ranch? Well, those people that had that foresight moved in there and paid $450 for a house are living in $1 million house now. So this is a great opportunity. When it's really, the tollway is really there, more and more people are going to see it, and it's going to cost more. Pro number 2 is on the flip side. We don't have all the nightlife, but we have a lot of community events, and people are friendly. Like, it still has a little bit more of that country feel, and it has that, you know, the right now there's one high school with the Bobcats, and it's Friday Night Lights is a big deal. The whole community comes together to support the high school and the kids and be a part of their success. You also want to go downtown because they have things like Oktoberfest. They have a Cajun Fest. There's a lot of little things to do downtown. You can always just grab dinner, grab a coffee, look at all the little shops around. I'm going to be doing more videos on all the neighborhoods and all these, like all the things in Celina. So definitely hit the subscribe button so you'll see more of that. Okay, con number 3 is that Celina is still in its early development. And that means that, well, like it's just had the Methodist Medical Center open in March of 2025. I think that's interesting because the first church in Celina in 1880 was a Methodist church. And now it's a Methodist hospital is the first hospital opening. But you're also not far down the tollway to a lot of other hospitals. But those things, the shopping and the healthcare and all of that is coming. And it is really catching up quickly. Considering that the city is like right now into 2025, and always look at the date when I'm releasing this, a little bit after, but the population was about 65,000 people, and that's already up from like a year ago, and is projected to grow to about 350 or 400,000. So in 20 years, or maybe sooner, it's going to be that many people, and all of those businesses will follow. Now, we're already seeing, for example, the Costco coming in at Owensby and Preston Road. So that's, I believe the ground is breaking here very soon and projected to finish at the end of 2026. So companies don't move, big boxes, Lowe's, all of those don't come into communities where the growth is not fully expected and anticipated. Okay, the third pro is that tollway access. That tollway, I mean, look, I personally would take the tollway over a lot of other roads in Dallas. Yes, you have to pay for it, but you don't have the amount of semi trucks just barreling down that road. I don't know, it's like a smoother, easier drive, I think, even in higher traffic times. And so you have access to the tollway, takes you down to downtown Dallas, or you can take the tollway down to 121, get to the airport. You can get access to 380, which is moving a lot smoother now with all the overpasses they've added. And you're also going to have access to that outer loop that can take you over to 75. So while you're going to have to deal with some of the pains of that, that is going to be amazing because Frisco is becoming more of the center of Dallas, and you just have Prosper in between. You know, Frisco's down here, Prosper, and then Celina. And Prosper is really, you pass through that pretty quick. So you're really close to Frisco, which is becoming the heart of DFW. Okay, the next con number 4, and this is what we can help you kind of know what all this is, because we know what's happening in a lot of these communities in terms of mud and PID and all that. There's taxes that you may not know about when you're just looking at the sticker price. So a lot of these communities have MUDs or PIDs, which is extra taxes that usually pay out over 30 years, and you've got to count that into what your monthly payment is. And also, you're going to have HOAs because a lot of these are master plan communities, which are beautiful, wonderful, and amenities and parks and walking trails, and they're going to help your property value hold. But you're going to have to also pay for the HOA. So when we're looking at the total cost of a home, we're not just looking at your mortgage and your interest and your insurance and your, state and city and county, or your county and city taxes, but also those special MUDs and PIDs and the HOA cost. So got to look at the final price. Now, to counterbalance a lot of that, at least at the time I'm making this videos, a lot of these builders with the new construction are doing rate buy downs, and they're helping you where that is offsetting a lot of what these expenses are, to where it's not uncommon to still be able to get into new construction in Celina for a better price than existing homes. So just, you want to work with somebody that can help you negotiate the best price. And we know these builders, and that's what we like to do, is help look out for you. So that's a con, the hidden taxes. On the flip side, the pro, and this is probably the biggest pro to me, is the equity. Look, guys, you make your money on real estate when you buy the real estate. And I've lived in Dallas for 25 years, and I grew up in Weatherford on the other side of Fort Worth, so I also know all that area in between. And I can tell you, like, from being in Dallas and my girls going to Plano schools while they were getting grown up, and watching Frisco take off. And my first broker was very involved with all the farmers in Celina, and we were out here driving around looking at the empty land. It was just narrow roads and empty land. And that was in, I'm talking about like just 13 years ago. There wasn't hardly anything. And we all knew what was happening, what was coming. And we're watching this come because we watched it in Frisco. So you are going to have a big equity boost by buying in Celina. Now, if you're buying in a community that's not built out yet, if you buy in early, you're not going to want to sell right away because you're going to be competing with the builder that's doing all these incentives. So you do want to be able to hold the house for a few years, but that's just in real estate in general. We always say you want to hold for 5 years. If you're in and you're out too quick, there can be a little bit of fluctuation. Plus, you just haven't paid a lot into a lot of the principal off yet on your mortgage, so it doesn't make sense. But this is an area where you can buy right. You're going to see the same pattern that happened in Frisco, and your property values are going to go up, and it is going to be, everything that Frisco has. I believe Celina is going to have that and even more, because Frisco has kind of built out at a little bit lower population, and Celina's got more space. So it's going to have a bigger population. Might even consider going up like a little bit more north in Celina to buy, where you can get a little bit better price, because if you can withstand feeling a little remote right now, it is going to completely change. So anyway, those are my pros and cons of Celina, Texas. And I'm going to answer that trivia question for you. Okay, so Celina, Texas, think back to the late 1800s. In the late 1800s, people started moving to this area because they thought the railroad was going to come through. Well, the railroad didn't come through where they thought it was going to. And so people were so resilient. I mean, I had ancestors in Texas in 1850s or even before. So, and I really respect those ancestors. I've been trying to learn more about the things that they did. But 1800, they were very resilient, and they stayed, they farmed, they grew wheat, they grew cotton, they had livestock, they were ranchers. They also grew corn. So corn, cotton, wheat, they ranched, they grew livestock, and they looked out for each other. If you had extra, you shared with a neighbor. And if a neighbor needed help, you went and helped. And that's just how everybody survived. But anyway, they thought they were near the railroad. They weren't. And this just shows how much of a collaborative effort and that community feel that Celina has. And somehow it stayed. I hope it stays as it grows bigger, but it stayed through all the years of people looking out for each other. Its treasure has been community, not oil. Texas, a lot of times is oil, but Celina's treasure is community. And with that community, they were able to move the buildings from the original downtown area a mile north to where the railroad did come through. And so they called it Roller Town. They got like logs, and they got rollers and logs, and they put houses and buildings on these rollers, and they rolled the whole town up a mile. So that's why it's called Roller Town. And up till recently, there was a brewery downtown called Roller Town. It moved to Frisco. I think the rent got too high, but which is why I like to tell people if they want commercial. And my team also does the commercial. It's like, if you can buy it, like, buy it, because that's what happens is the rent gets raised and then you can't beat it. But anyway, I wanted to tell you why it's called Roller Town. The town literally got rolled a mile north, so it would be near the airport. And I hope you love Celina as much as I do. When you decide to move here, you're going to want to go to the downtown and, have a meal, walk on those brick streets. And I think that, if you're wanting to, raise a family, grab some equity, this is a great place to put some roots down. So until next time, there are more videos you can watch, and we appreciate you taking the time to subscribe.
Texas isn't just a place, it's a promise. Texas opens doors to opportunities. It's big land and bold living. And whether it's city lights or country nights, Texas has it all. No state income tax, a booming economy, strong values, strong families. Your future starts here. Buy bold, live free, and own Texas. Your only decision is where to live in Texas. Whether you savor wide open skies or skyline views, our team in Dallas and trusted partners across Texas are here to guide you every step of the way. To be a part of Texas tomorrow, call today. Don't delay. Call Janée.
Oh, and hey, I don't know if you could see her in the background. This is Lola. This is my senior dog, and she has to be near me as much as possible. So she is in the seat here right next to me when I'm making a video. Otherwise, she would be crying in the other room. So, and also, by the way, this little model here is, whoops, can you see it? In a lot of the little towns in Texas, we have courthouses. That is a model of the courthouse in Parker County, which is in Weatherford. Weatherford's the county seat. And it's probably one of the most beautiful courthouses, but there are some other really pretty ones also. And so anyway, that's a thing in Texas, our courthouses. We're very proud of those. So until next time, just remember, don't delay, call Janée. Bye-bye.